Well, thank you for joining us here for the latest news and weather where you live. I'm Joe Ellison. New developments in the case of an off-duty Oklahoma sheriff's deputy who shot a man in rural Washington County earlier this month. Officials say the investigative file has now been turned over to the prosecuting attorney. Now, this video shows the moments leading up to the shooting. Adair County Deputy Travis Adams was off duty. Investigators say he fired 2 shots from his service weapon. Justin Hellier was shot in the stomach area. Deputy Adams is on paid leave pending the investigation into what happened. Now that the case has been turned over to the prosecutor, we're waiting to see if Adams, Hellier, or both men could face any charges. Of course, stay with 5 News as we continue to follow this case. And here's an update to a story we've been following since April. Rogers police have now confirmed that they made 3 arrests in connection to a deadly shooting of a teen girl. They also confirmed that the suspects have been released on bail. The shooting happened back in April on East Asher Court, where officers say they found the 17-year-old girl after reports of gunshots. 3 suspects were arrested in connection with the crime. 44-year-old Daniel Chavez, 42-year-old Rosa Reyes Sendejas, and 21-year-old Giovanni Zenin. They were all arrested in Arkansas City, Kansas, in connection with the shooting. Investigators with the Rogers Police Department believe they fled the state and helped hide a juvenile who shot and killed the girl. They are still searching for that juvenile. Well, there are new developments in the fight over a push to legalize recreational marijuana in Arkansas. The Arkansas Secretary of State declared a ballot measure insufficient to be included on the November ballot. Now, it's issue 4, but it will appear on the November ballot. But this announcement from the state secretary is just procedural, and the Supreme Court will ultimately decide if the votes will be counted on this issue. Now, the issue ended up in the state's high court after the Board of Election Commissioner refused to certify the ballot proposal last month. We reached out to the attorney for Responsible Growth Arkansas, who circulated the original petition. They believe the development clears the way for the high court to make a ruling on the matter and are confident they'll ultimately rule in their favor. Now, before we get to other top stories, let's get a check of the weather with meteorologist Stephen Abshire. Hey, Stephen.
Hey, Joe, it's looking like we're going to have a nice day as we get into the rest of this afternoon, into the 80s and into the upper 80s as we get towards the end of the afternoon. Temperatures are going to dip off into the 70s and then into the 60s for Northwest Arkansas as we get later on throughout this evening. In the 80s for right now as we get into the River Valley, but up into the 90s for a high today, then getting into the 80s. But it's going to be sunny all afternoon. It's going to be nice blue skies all the rest of today. Taking a look at high temperatures for today, in the upper 80s for parts of Northwest Arkansas, into the 90s for some areas of the River Valley. So it is going to get up there in temperature, and it's not going to let off as we take a look at the 7-day forecast. Those 90-degree weathers are going to be around for a while. Sunny for really the next 7 days. No chance for rain at all. Some clouds move in tomorrow, but we're going to be into the 90s and then into the mid-90s as we get into the start of next week. For the River Valley, in the 90s for the next 7 days. Going to get into the mid-90s into the upper 90s as we progress into the end of this weekend, into the beginning of next week.
All right, thanks so much, Stephen. Well, Arkansas Governor Asa Hutchinson weighing in on President Joe Biden's student loan forgiveness plan. Arkansas Hutchinson said that this forgiveness plan, when he spoke about it this week, it was along with 21 other governors. They sent a letter to the president voicing their problems with this plan. Now, Governor Hutchinson released a statement on Twitter about the letter saying, quote, Americans agree higher education is too expensive, but the solution to the rising cost of a college degree isn't a government handout. We expect to have more on this. Well, Arvest Bank has released its latest Skyline report on real estate in Northwest Arkansas. For the first half of 2022, average selling prices for homes jumped nearly 27% from a year ago. The report also found the Northwest Arkansas area also had a vacancy rate of 2.3% for the same period for homes and apartments. The Skyline report comes out twice a year and is focused on Benton and Washington counties. Well, the leader of the largest school district in the state of Arkansas is being recognized as the best in Arkansas. Dr. Jared Cleveland was named 2023 Superintendent of the Year by the Arkansas Association of administrators. He was surprised with the award at last night's school board meeting. He's been with the district for nearly a decade now and spent the past 2 years as superintendent. He's now in the running for the National Superintendent of the Year award, which will be announced in February. Good luck to him. Well, thank you for joining us here today for the latest news and weather where you live. Catch up with us again tomorrow right here for more. For 5 News, I'm Jo Ellison. Have a great week.